Hello everyone and welcome to our guest today, Lorraine. Lorraine's going to talk to us about her experience of working in practice and what her practice does, and also we're going to have a little bit of a chat about the conference at the end. So first of all, thank you very much for joining us today, Lorraine. And if you could tell us a little bit about how you got started, how did you move into setting up?
Oh dear. Well, here's the confession. I wanted to do tax. I know, honestly, crazy. And I was a trained management accountant, so nobody would give me a job as tax, working in tax. So I decided to set my own business up so I could work in tax. Wow. That's how it all started.
That's a good one.
And I gave myself 6 months, and I thought, oh, if it doesn't work, I can go and get a job now. But it took off. And yeah, so and the main thing was that I went networking, and that's how that I just kept getting a new client every week. So that's how, and then I found I loved networking, and the business grew from that. So
that's brilliant. Networking is a fantastic way to make contacts. I mean, it's very difficult at the moment, obviously, because you can't physically network, but it's all we might
hang on a minute. Oh no, well, Steve, we've been networking during the lockdown. We've been doing it on Zoom, and we've got a really good, strong group. So we've been meeting every Friday morning. So I still have to get up early on a Friday morning and do our networking. And we took on three new members, and we had about 5 or 6 visitors. So it was really good. And I think we had 2 who didn't want to use Zoom, so we just sent them messages on WhatsApp and things. And then we've been back 2 weeks now, socially distancing. So it's quite difficult because a lot of the people in the group want a hug, so you just put your hand up and keep your distance. But yeah, we've been networking all the way through, so it's a regular stream of new clients coming on board and helping people in the group. And as you know, because you know all about networking, you don't go looking for business. You just go there to make contacts, build up your connection base, and if there's work to be had, people will ask, and there's no hard sell. So it's just get to know people.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely important with networking, is people don't want to be sold to, and that's a message that always matters. If you just go somewhere and somebody just spends the whole time trying to sell you stuff, then pretty soon you'll get bored with it and not want to do that.
Well, you mentioned about the conference. Last year we had Will Kintish on, and he was teaching you, how to diplomatically move away from somebody who's just doing a hard sell.
That's the tricky one. If you get caught with somebody, how do you go?
Oh,
that's okay, great. I'm going to move on to the next person now. More people. He was really good.
Tips on how to do it. Yeah.
Very good. And in your practice, what do you focus on? I know you're a QuickBooks.
Oh, absolutely. We're all digital, and we use QuickBooks. So everybody who joins us has to go on to QuickBooks. We love looking after new startups. So getting people set up with a limited company, doing a tax plan beforehand, working out what their life plan is, because it's, what are you going to do at the end with the company?
Yeah. Because
that will dictate what you want to do at the beginning, and how you set the shares up, and how you draw a salary and dividend out of a business. We also, people don't realise that accountants might do this, but we look at them and say, where's your sales going to come from? How are you going to engage with people? What's your product? What's your pricing? Are you going to make a profit selling that product? Is there a market for it? And it's going through that whole process. And then if anybody has done a startup, you will know the first 12 months is really difficult. Takes all the time, so you can't do everything. So if you engage an accountant from the beginning, you can get your system set up right, and you can get some help with that bit, because you're spinning plates, you're wearing loads of hats. Sometimes money is an issue. You haven't got all the money to spend, so we teach people how to. We did one yesterday where you use the QuickBooks app, and you can save time by just photographing your receipts. You link the bank, you get the machines to do the work. So we help people get set up with cost effective setups, and making sure it's targeted right. Some people don't want management accounts from the beginning. They just want to survive and get through that first period. So We just
Yeah.
adapt it to the people. Everybody's different, so we adapt it to what they need. And then you've got your first year-end set of accounts, and that should be easier to do if you've done your monthly accounts. But if you're doing a whole year in one go, well, it's a bit of a challenge.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately,
then,
I see it so often where people don't, they do very little. First of all, they don't engage an accountant early enough, so they don't get any systems. Then later on, they know it's their year end coming up, so they've got to do something. So then they've got a whole year's worth of stuff to try and put on there.
But sometimes they don't identify the year ends due until the deadline. So you get 9 months after your year end, and they're coming in month 8 to do the accounts. It's like a real challenge. Because even if you can't really afford an accountant, you're better off going talking to somebody to get you on the right track.
Yeah.
If somebody hasn't got the money, we'll give them the tips and say there's how to get it done, on a shoestring budget. But they then set it up right. And so if they do come back later when they started making some money and they can afford it, then they've already got the right procedures in place. So that's what we try to do, because we know how difficult it can be for some startups.
It is a good strategy, and it's something that everybody should adopt. Every new business should adopt software and things like that early on, because it's just it will be so much less stressful for them later if they do that.
Absolutely. And then of course there's the corporation tax, which is another thing altogether. And what you get from your accountant is a one-pager that looks dead easy. It's just a few lines, but it's all the accountant stuff that goes behind it. So you don't actually see the process. You just see the outcome and you say, well, it's only 3 lines. But there's a lot of work gone in beforehand.
There is. It does take a lot of knowledge and skill to come to that conclusion. And yes, people could do it themselves or try to, but
I wouldn't recommend
it. The right answer if you do that, because you can't. If it was that easy to pick up, you wouldn't need us really.
Well, we both know accountants who don't do tax, because tax is a specialist area. And the tax rules are changing constantly. I mean, we've just seen a whole raft of different things that have come in. And sometimes they change the rules, for example, the PPE, the VAT changed on that. I have no idea how some people are going to manage that if they haven't got systems. So it is all about systems and being ahead of the game rather than doing it 9 months after, because you'd be saying, oh, when did it change? How long did it last?
When changing back, all that kind of stuff.
When did I make the sale? When was that tax point? And most accountants I know have really got their head in their hands about the changes. It's like, please just leave everything alone so we can get on with the work.
I know. It takes quite a lot of keeping up with everything that's going on. There's been some major changes, and I'm sure there will be a lot more changes to come as the country tries to recoup the money that it's managed to spend out.
Absolutely. We've got, we're constantly keeping up to date with CPD, and you do a lot of property stuff, don't you? So the property rules just are constantly changing. I had somebody ring me this morning saying, I'm about to make a purchase for a property, not a client, but do I buy it in my own name or do I buy it in the company? And I went, I can't give you an answer today. I need to know, your life plan, really. Why are you doing it? What you're going to do when you're going to sell it. So I pointed her into a few areas and said, if you need a decision today, go and look at this, go and look at that, and have a chat with your family and see what you want to do. But I can't fit you in today. I've got a meeting with Steve. And I've got a lot of work to do. So, if you really, your message is get in there early. So the accountant knows what your backstory is. And then when you do ask a question, it is an easier answer, because you know what that person's planning. You cannot rock up on the day and say, it's not like going to Tesco's to buy some, I was going to say a loo roll, but that's, buying some bread or something, you cannot just rock up and get it. You've got to have a proper plan in place. Otherwise it'll cost you, quite a bit. And you're not
with property, if you make the wrong decisions, the extra tax you could pay would have been very significant.
Absolutely, yeah. The other thing I mentioned was, have you spotted the 30-day rule? So if you sell a property and you've got to declare capital gains, you've only got 30 days now. I've heard that it's up and running now, so I need to check we're getting ready. I've got one that we need to be submitting. But there's another set of new rules.
You'd think that was an easy question, but it's not as easy as you think, because in order to determine how much capital gains to pay, you also need to understand what other gains and losses they may have.
Absolutely. She said, well, what other gains could there be? I said, well, somebody might have had a property left from a relative, somebody might have died, left them some money. They might be running a share portfolio and they've got loads of tax and capital gains on that. And you wouldn't know unless you ask, because some family members don't share.
Are they a lower rate taxpayer?
It's a higher rate taxpayer. So that was the driving force. And it was, don't just think about the tax, think about the whole picture. You need a proper tax plan, and I can't fit you in today, and I don't know anybody who can really. I should have maybe pointed her onto you.
Well, some people do, but I try and help. But yeah, I do get people ring me up sometimes and just throw those sort of questions at me, and you can't just. If I'm not,
you need to know. You need to know the tax. Yeah, you need to know.
It's not as simple as just answering that. Yeah, it sounds like an easy question, but it's not necessarily an easy answer.
Yeah, my top thing this month has been, I've just got a quick question. I've just got an easy, quick question. I think, the question's very easy. The answer isn't. It
depends on this, and this. So it's tricky. So, how you're obviously a big fan of QuickBooks. How did you sort of come to that decision to go with QuickBooks?
Well, we were working on the desktop version and we loved it, but then we kept getting version controls, because if somebody came in once a year, it's who had the latest version of it and all the rest of it. So we had version controls. We didn't have a central server. I didn't really want to pay out $3-4 grand for a new server, so we needed to look for a digital solution, a cloud-based solution. So I tried QuickBooks and I hated it. I put it away for a year, and I just thought, no, I don't like that at all. That's awful. I'll stick with my desktop. And then it got more development work done on it, and I had another go a year later. I thought, oh my goodness, if I weigh up the cost versus the benefit, the hardship, the problems we have, this could solve a lot of problems. So I started with ours. I started with our books to test it, found out how to do it all wrong, and then found out how to do it all right. And then it's been progressive, and so we've just slowly moved everybody else on. And then about 2 or 3 years ago, we made the decision, we like it that much, this is the only one we're going to go with. And it's easy for us because we only have to learn one package. We're not paying for different training. Our clients benefit because we're quick at it, and we're all advanced users. We're using it every day. We can help with things like supplier credit notes and supplier refunds, little things that are not normal everyday things. And yesterday we did a live webinar to show people how to use the app on the phone. So the saying was for Sundays, don't spend Sundays entering your receipts. Just photograph them on the go, and then you can drink your gin on a Sunday instead of doing bookkeeping.
Well, that sounds a good incentive.
Everything revolves around when can I have a drink.
Now, I know you've got a team of staff as well. So how have you coped with the lockdown situation, and how is it working out for you?
You think, we're 100% digital. We've got no problem. We can work anywhere. I worked in Australia for a week 2 years ago because everything is digital. But being sat in the same room all day, not being able to go out and visit a customer, it was a big challenge. My office is upstairs. It hasn't got a very good view. It's a little window at the side. So I'm camped on my dining room table so I can look out on the garden. So I've got greenery, robin bobbing about. One of the girls, she's got childcare, so she was doing school homeschooling. So basically, we just relaxed the rules. We made sure everybody had 2 screens, because if you did, you've got to have more than 1 screen. We've got them at the office, but we didn't have them at home. So we ordered them, got some docking stations, got that all set up, and just relaxed the rules and just said, do what you can. We're not going on furlough leave. We've got too much work to do. Fit it around, shout up if you get stuck. We tried having a Zoom quiz, but it didn't really work. It was fun, but So basically, we've just knuckled down and just been a bit more relaxed about. One was saying, I can't sit in my little office looking at my screen for 8 hours. It's driving me insane. So we just broke it up and said, do what you can and stop when you've had enough. Go and walk the dog. Maybe do another hour later, or just mark it and we'll catch up later on in the year, or we'll just say it was special circumstances. That's it. We're writing it off and just help mental well-being. That's been the thing. And we just agreed with one of the girls to reduce the hours, and then furlough came, followed by furlough flexible, and she ended up working more hours than than the original. Anyway, but we've coped all right. But people have had to manage working with a crowded family house.
Yeah.
So
not easy.
We actually looked at closing the office, but we just think, no, we need to have, it's just a small office because we do dot around. We're going to keep it going because we need to have that sanctuary where we go and just have a bit of peace and quiet. I've not been in yet. I was going to go last week to pick up the post, but one of the others went in and dropped the post off at the house. So I still haven't been in. It's back open again. We got 4 hours notice that the office was closed. It's a serviced office. And then the post office stopped delivering. So we had no access to, and we just took the view, it'll just be stuff from HMRC. We're not really bothered about it. And the rent invoice from the council.
Anyway, letters saying we've shut for a bit, sort of thing.
It was paper invoices from the council, so we weren't bothered about that either.
I found that all this furlough stuff was I did it as a freebie for my clients, but all this, I had about 40 payrolls on furlough. A lot of extra work involved in doing that. A lot more than I even anticipated I was going to be spending. It made it about 5 times the time it normally takes to do.
We ended up just charging a token, just enough to cover the time. We weren't looking to make money out of it, but we needed to, we were paying the wages. We needed to cover the wages in doing it. So we just did what we could. We really didn't want the customer to be working it out because it was complicated. My confession is, Steve, I did have a go. And then I just went, I can't cope with it, and I gave it to the team member who looks after payroll. I said, I can't help you, you'll have to do it, which is how she ended up doing extra work. But it was hard work.
In theory, it's easy, but in practice, it's very time-consuming and complicated and hard to understand.
And at a time when we were all feeling really under pressure mentally. Because you didn't know, you didn't dare go out. I didn't go out the house for 3 weeks, and that, I'm guilty of. I'm one of those who didn't join in with Joe Wicks to do the exercise. I tried it once, and I thought it's too much hard work. I've got all this work to do. I've been basically working, 10, 12, 14 hours a day just to get through the workload, because it increased. People wanted to know what the tax was. Some had lost their income overnight, so it was, what do we need to do? Where are we at? Do we need to apply for a bounce back loan and that sort of thing? Some people were in the middle of getting a mortgage, so they needed their tax returns doing. COVID really was unfair, the timing of it. It hit at the back end of March. We had payroll year end, we had all the financial year ends, and then we had a crisis of people losing their income overnight. Other people let turnover doubling overnight because they were doing other things. So it's been,
it has. It's been like January continuously for me. I start about 8 o'clock in the morning and I finish about 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
It's just crazy. But I feel as if it is settling down now, and we're on a challenge now to get the tax returns done, get the year ends done, and then we've introduced a few more rules. The lockdown has brought a few more things. So now we've banned carrier bags full of paperwork. So everything's got to be digital now. And the next thing that we're doing is we're going to try, I don't know how we'll do it, but if we take on a new client, we're just going to say we want the handover paper from your existing accountant in digital format. So I'm not sure how do we treat it, but that's our mission. Yeah.
No, it sounds good.
I can't deal with any more paperwork.
No, it's the way to go, and everybody should be doing that sort of stuff, really, because we need to.
Yeah, I'm absolutely aghast when I find that people are still dealing with. We take some clients on, and the handover is, the analysis paper.
Yeah,
it's written in pencil on that, and you just think, what? Yeah. It's like another world. So I can see a lot, and see a lot of people have migrated to digital.
Yeah.
And it's a phased process. You kind do it overnight because it's a changing culture. And we've been doing it since 2012.
Yeah.
So, and I think we got fully digital about 2 years ago. Have we got time to mention the conference?
Yeah, no, I was going to come on to that now. So tell us about the CIMA MIP conference. What is it? What's it like?
Yeah.
Where should we go? That sort of thing.
Well, if your audience doesn't know, CIMA are Chartered Management Accountants, and MIPs are members in practice. So people who've left industry and working for one firm and look after many firms, and we call it working in practice. So for the CIMA MIPs, we put on an annual conference, and we had it all booked, all sorted, ready for June. Then COVID came along and it got postponed to October. And then it was, will we be able to do it? Will we not? Social distancing. So we bit the bullet and said, right, just so we're in control of the process, we're going to do a virtual conference. And so that's what we're doing. And it's in October, something like the 19th, that week. It's on the website. And it was originally
where to find it. So looking for, it's got a catchy little URL, as you can see there.
There is a thing where you can do short URLs. Obviously, we haven't done for that. And it was meant to tie in with the Olympics, going for gold, but obviously that's all changed as well. We haven't had time to change the title, so we're going for gold anyway. And basically, it's the members in practice accountants, so it's only open to those who are CIMA members. You don't have to be a member in practice, you just have to be a CIMA member, and you can come along. And it's things like how to run your business better. So how to get digital, how to do marketing, how to get customers. We've got some in-depth sessions. Jonathan's been looking after the speakers. We've got Amanda What? I hope I'm allowed to say that. But anyway, she's coming to do something on marketing. The cat's out the bag. We've also got Free Agent who are sponsoring.
Yeah.
They do software, and it's lovely software. I know I'm a quick fan, but it's really good, particularly anybody who's doing their own accounts, and it comes free with the NatWest Bank. So what else have we got, Steve? What's on the
we're gonna do some charity stuff, aren't we, as well?
Oh yes, the charity. There's loads of CIMA accountants who are doing charities. I've banned them because they're a specialist area, so I don't do them. But CIC's charities, so we've got the Charity Commission coming in to talk about it. There'll also be when you do this peer-to-peer support, there's a lot of that goes on. And you've got people there who have been dealing with charities for a long time, and they know the ins and outs. And if you get talking to one of them in the free networking sessions, that's where you pick up your tips. And my little campaign, I'm trying to get a bar organised. Obviously, it's all virtual. You've got to bring your own drink, and we are going to get dressed up. So I'll have my evening gown on, and it's a chance to just relax and talk, and you get to share things that worked, things that haven't worked, what to watch out for. We have discussions about how to deal with difficult situations, how to handle something, and you build up. We've got this network of MIPs across the UK, and we're branching international now, so we've got a few international joining us, and with a virtual network, obviously all the internationals can join in, and we're building up this network of peer-to-peer support. So, for example, I know you know a lot about property, so if I got stuck on something, I could just send you a little email and say, would you mind, will you have a look at this?
No,
do your own research when you get it.
No, I've always tried to sort of help people, and there's a small number of MIPs who do call me on a regular basis if they get stuck on something.
You might have to set up a paid-for subscription.
Depends how bad it is. I try to help everybody for free. I don't try to.
Yeah, I do the same. One of my things is I help new MIPs. There's a few. Julie does it. Joy's doing it, and what we do is if somebody's thinking about becoming a MIP, we'll have a conversation with them so we can help them to understand. Yes, they can do management accounts. They've done that for their previous employer. But what are they going to offer to the outside world, to the business community? Are they going to do compliance, which is what I do, so year-end accounts, tax returns, doing limited companies, or are they going to do management accounts and work with another accountant or whatever? Or are they going to do consultancy? Because there's people who do systems, implementation, profit improvement. Honestly, the list, when you look at the variety of what the management accountants so to try and, when somebody's setting up their own business as a member in practice accountant, it's helpful to have somebody experienced try and tailor it to narrow down what you're offering and what kind of customers you're going to work with. So I do a lot of that. I usually give like an hour on a Saturday to have a conversation with somebody, because we're all just helping each other, So we've done some. There's on the webinars. There's a pricing one. There's how to get new customers, and the really good webinars with examples of pricing in as well. So we broke the mold and did a bit of that as well. So
there's so much help for people getting started, and more CIMA members should consider this as an option. I believe. I think that.
But even if they're doing it in 10 years' time, you can never start too early thinking about your strategy, how you're going to get your customers, and one of the things is building up your community on LinkedIn and Facebook, because if you've got that business community, you've already got your contacts, and then if you do set up a business, you can say, I've set up my business, this is what I'm looking for, and all of these contacts will help you. So you never know. If you start doing it, and I did the same error. I started on day one and had 60 people on me telephone list, and now it's pages and pages long, because I focus on building my contacts. And you can do that while you're still employed. If you think at some point I might retire or I might leave my job and have a flexible working life doing accountancy. So that's the sort of thing. And at the moment, obviously, we know a lot of people are facing redundancy or have been made redundant. And if the job market is flat and you cannot get a job and you've got all these brilliant skills, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? And the process is quite challenging to become a member in practice. So I would recommend that you actually join in the community, so that will help you to get sorted, because you've got to do the EML policy.
It's just it's a paperwork process more than a passing test kind of process.
Oh, so, yes, and then it gets reviewed by an assessor.
So once you've coached them into deciding this is for them, then I get to see their applications as an assessor to see if I think they're okay.
We were on a Zoom call the other night with Ian Ross, the chairman of the practice panel, just a voluntary thing. And one of the ladies there, we thought it was going to take another 3 weeks to get our membership, and there she was celebrating the fact that she was now a member in practice. Wow. So we said to her, so what services are you going to offer? And she went, I don't know yet.
Oh, that's not so good.
It's best to have a plan. So we have a plan. And sometimes, you know, it takes a little bit of time. We focus on startups. We like entrepreneurs, engineering companies that are digitally enabled, modern, forward-thinking, people who are low use of cash. And it's just explaining some of the issues around looking after other people's. The biggest challenge moving from a management accountant with one company to looking after, we've got 200 companies to look after, managing all of their deadlines.
Yeah.
So the limited companies have all got different. We all know when the tax return.
No, I mean, I manage most things through Smartsheet myself, but I know that there's lots of practice systems that will schedule your time for you, which can become quite a bit of a nuisance, particularly if you've got like 200 companies, like you say, because all you get every day is a list of you must do these things.
And then you become blind to it, and you don't. I've got a whiteboard, and I have my urgent things on the whiteboard, so I'm looking at them and reviewing them every day. And obviously, my rule now is delegation.
Good.
Delegation. I'm trying to create a bit of space so that I can look at the more strategic stuff with the clients instead of just like trying to hit the deadlines. So we've expanded our team. We did that through lockdown as well. So we took on a new team member, and we increased the hours of another one.
That's fantastic. That's brilliant in the circumstances. That's amazing.
So I'm working on the rest of me delegation, and I've proved I've delegated very well with the payroll in the fact that I can't do it anymore.
I don't really enjoy payroll. Is something I'm not really keen on, but it's something I have to do. So
my advice is to outsource wherever possible. I like to do the sole directors. So if you've got a sole director, I like to look after the whole thing, which is the salary, the dividends, the limited company, and then their personal. I'm always telling people, get yourself a personal budget, because that's your starting point. What is it? How much money do you need to live on? And that's your target as a minimum to take out the business, and then work it backwards. And then what turnover do you need from the business and profitability level and cash to fund your personal budget? And people say, well, why do you need a personal budget? We're looking at my business. The two, honestly, you can't separate the two.
No.
If you're it's so
you can't pay your mortgage, you've got a problem, really.
So you can't separate it. They laugh at me because I'll even say things like, are you married? Have you got children? When are you going to retire? And I'm asking all these personal questions because we're developing what's your long-term plans. So we can help you to get there, because that's the whole point of doing the business, isn't it? Otherwise, we'd all be just jetting off and having holidays. Well, not at the moment, obviously.
Going back to the conference, you're the chair for this year's conference.
I am, yes. And do you know what, though? I'm the chair of the first virtual conference.
That's a real big accolade, that is.
It is, I'm loving it.
It could be the start of a whole new way of doing conferences.
Absolutely. And do you know what? They said we wouldn't get the traction with it and everything, but I think we will. And the fact that we've now got sponsorship means that the sponsors see the benefit of it. And the whole point is about sharing information for our members so that they can, have an easier life, find easier way to do things, learn a bit of CPD, and join in with the community. The community, you kind of put a financial value on it because it's that intrinsic thing. You don't know when you need to ask for help. And it's nice when you're there and you can help somebody. I
think there's a much closer relationship with that within CIMA members as well, perhaps more so than other institutes. So we don't see each other as the opposition, perhaps like
no.
We are much more likely to want to help our colleagues.
Our colleagues, definitely. I see a lot of that. I really do. I see a lot of it. There was a lady who was, I don't know, I think she was buying some fees, a block of fees. And she was delighted because she was buying this block of fees from another CIMA accountant. So she knew how, CIMA accountants work. And she says, it's just going to be so much easier than when I did it, the first time, because I know what I'm dealing with. So, there's a lot going on, and you never know when you need to ask and put a shout out for somebody to help. Ian Ross, he sends round the Midnet.
Yeah.
Which is, I know it's, old fashioned and we're all digital and all the rest of it, but it works. And he sends around an email saying there's a job opportunity here, or somebody's wanting to do this, somebody's got a query on like property or whatever. And he sends that round, and whoever's free and can help will send a collection of replies. So you don't just get one person advising, you've got this team of people around the who help. Well, and there's a guy, I think he's in America, so he understands American tax. So there's just like this talent pool that you can tap into, and it costs something like £45 for a year's membership. It's the best value you could ever get, full of all these people who've got this expertise who share it willingly with the members. And it's quite an awesome thing to be.
It's been going a long time as well, so it's well established. Very popular.
So it works. So I do not interfere and say, Ian, you need to get it on a Slack thing or something.
Some sort of chat thing.
So I'm looking forward to the conference. It's brand new. It's a new concept, but I've got a demo with the software on the 2nd of September. I have seen it quickly, and Jonathan went and did a live demo when they were doing an expo, and they've got these little coffee tables, so they've got 4 chairs around the coffee table, and you can go and sit and talk to whoever's at the coffee table. So obviously you've got to bring your own physical coffee, and it's all virtual. But the concept is you can walk in, sit down at a little coffee table and have a chat with somebody, and just and obviously you need to work out, because if you don't really want to talk to them, you've got to figure out your exit plan.
You got to say, sorry, you need to move on now. So
I've got a session to attend, or I've got to go and there's somebody at the door or whatever.
Plenty of reasons to move on.
So because it's virtual, we don't know, and I don't know yet whether we can see people's faces or whether. I'm sure you can. I'm sure there'll be a video thing, but
maybe people want to share that, I suppose. Some people will and some people won't, I suppose. I don't know.
Well, no, I think one of the things is we're saying you've got to put your video on. I'm not sure. I'll check. I've got to find out, but I'll find out on the trial. But basically, it's plenty of sessions on, plenty of things to learn. And who wouldn't want to be part of like this historic event, really? That's my latest little plug with it. It's historic. Be there at the start, because it could be the future. Saves on all the travel. Although we are having a physical one next year, it's subject to distancing rules.
Okay, well, I think we're going to close it off for today. So thank you very much, Lorraine, for speaking to us.
Thanks.
It's been great having you on, and we're going to do a whole series of these, so there'll be lots of opportunities for lots of people to talk to us about, and engage with us on things to do with the conference and talk about their practices and things like that. And anybody that wants to participate in this, please do get in touch. And thanks very much. I'm going to just draw it to a close there, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks. Bye.